Your brain is lying to you right now, and it's been doing it every single day of your life without you realizing it. In fact, by the time this video ends, you'll catch your brain in the act at least 3 times. Lie number 1. You remember things exactly how they happened. Think about your most vivid childhood memory. Got it? I hate to break this to you, but it probably never happened the way you remember it. Your brain isn't a video camera recording perfect footage. It's more like that friend who exaggerates stories every time they tell them. This is called the reconstructive nature of memory, and it's happening to you constantly. Here's what's really going on. Every time you recall a memory, your brain literally rewrites it based on your current emotions, knowledge, and beliefs. That argument you had with your ex? Your brain has probably edited it to make you look better or worse, depending on how you feel about them now. Ever notice how your parents remember your childhood completely differently than you do? That's not because one of you is lying. Both of your brains have been quietly editing the same events for years. Scientists have proven this with something called the misinformation effect. In studies, researchers can implant completely false memories just by suggesting them. People will swear they remember being lost in a mall as a child, complete with vivid details about what they wore and how scared they felt, even though it never happened. Right now, think about a memory from last week. Notice how fuzzy some details are. Your brain is already starting to edit that memory based on how your week turned out. The scariest part, the more confident you are about a memory, the more likely it is to be wrong. Your brain equates emotional intensity with accuracy, but they have absolutely nothing to do with each other.
Lie number 2. You're making rational decisions. You think you're logical, right? You weigh pros and cons, consider facts, make smart choices. Sorry to shatter this illusion, but you're basically running on emotional autopilot 95% of the time. This is your emotional brain hijacking your rational brain, and it happens so fast you don't even notice. Neuroscientists call this the affect heuristic. You make decisions based on how things feel, then your rational brain scrambles to justify those feelings with logic. Ever bought something expensive on impulse, then spent the drive home convincing yourself why it was actually a smart purchase? That's your rational brain working overtime to justify what your emotional brain already decided. Here's the kicker. Studies show that people with damaged emotional centers in their brains actually struggle to make basic decisions. They can analyze data perfectly, but they can't choose what to have for lunch. Your emotions aren't the enemy of logic. They're actually doing most of the decision-making work. Think about the last time you ignored red flags in a relationship or stayed in a job you hated. Your rational brain probably had a million logical reasons why you should leave, but your emotional brain was calling the shots. The confirmation bias makes this even worse. Your brain actively seeks information that confirms what you already want to believe, while ignoring contradictory evidence. It's like having a personal lawyer in your head who only presents evidence that makes you look good. This is why arguing with facts rarely changes anyone's mind. You're not really arguing with their logic, you're arguing with their emotions, and emotions don't care about your data. Lie number 3, other people are thinking about you. How many times today have you worried about what someone else might be thinking about you? Your outfit, that thing you said in the meeting, the way you laughed at that joke? Here's the brutal truth. They're probably not thinking about you at all. This is called the spotlight effect. And it's your brain's way of making you the star of a movie that nobody else is watching. You think everyone noticed that stain on your shirt, but they're too busy worrying about their own stains to care about yours. Cornell University did a study where they had students wear embarrassing t-shirts to class. The students thought 50% of people would notice their shirt. In reality, only 23% did, and even fewer actually cared. Remember that embarrassing thing you did in high school that still makes you cringe? I guarantee you're the only person who still thinks about it. Everyone else has moved on to worrying about their own embarrassing moments. This ties into the imaginary audience phenomenon. Your brain evolved when we lived in small tribes where everyone actually was watching and judging you. But now you're walking around in a world of strangers who are completely absorbed in their own lives, and your brain hasn't gotten the memo. Next time you're in public, try this. Look around and see if you can remember what the last 3 people you saw were wearing. Can't do it? That's exactly how much attention they're paying to you. The flip side of this is equally liberating. All those people you think are so confident and have it all figured out, they're walking around with the exact same spotlight effect, convinced everyone is judging them too. This is why social media is so psychologically exhausting. It takes the spotlight effect and actually makes it real. Suddenly, people really are watching and judging your every post, which goes against millions of years of human evolution.
Lie number 4. You're not biased. Quick question. Are you more biased or less biased than the average person? If you said less biased, congratulations, you just proved you're biased. This is called the bias blind spot, and literally everyone has it. Your brain is a bias-generating machine, running dozens of mental shortcuts called heuristics that help you make quick decisions but distort reality in the process. And the worst part? The smarter you are, the better you get at rationalizing your biases instead of overcoming them. The Dunning-Kruger effect. The less you know about something, the more confident you feel about it. Your brain literally can't see its own ignorance. It's like being confident you're a great driver while speeding through a blizzard with your eyes closed. Ever noticed how everyone else is a terrible driver, but you're just unlucky with traffic? That's the fundamental attribution error. When others mess up, it's because they're bad people, but when you mess up, it's because of circumstances. In hiring, identical resumes with traditionally white names get 50% more callbacks than the same resumes with traditionally black names. The hiring managers aren't consciously racist. Their brains are running implicit bias programs they don't even know exist. You think whatever comes to mind easily is more common than it actually is. This is why people are terrified of shark attacks, but not worried about coconuts, even though coconuts kill more people every year. Right now, your brain is probably generating reasons why you're different, why these biases don't apply to you. That voice in your head, that's bias talking. The first piece of information you hear about something becomes the anchor for all future judgments. In negotiations, whoever throws out the first number usually wins, because everyone else's brain gets stuck orbiting around that initial figure. The most insidious part? Education and intelligence don't protect you from bias. They just make you better at justifying your biased decisions with sophisticated reasoning. Lie number 5. You'll be happy when you achieve your goals. Remember the last big goal you achieved? The promotion, the relationship, the weight loss, the purchase you saved up for? How long did that happiness actually last? If you're being honest, probably not as long as you expected. This is your brain's hedonic treadmill in action. You're constantly running toward happiness, but never actually arriving because the treadmill keeps moving. Your brain has a happiness set point, and it will drag you back to baseline no matter what amazing things happen in your life. Harvard psychologist Dan Gilbert found that lottery winners and paralyzed accident victims report similar levels of life satisfaction 1 year after their life-changing events. Your brain is incredibly good at adapting to both good and bad circumstances. Think about something you desperately wanted 5 years ago. Got it? How important does it seem now? Your brain convinced you that achieving that goal would fundamentally change your life, but here you are, basically the same person with the same core happiness level. Effective forecasting. This is your brain's terrible ability to predict how future events will make you feel. You consistently overestimate how happy good things will make you and how miserable bad things will be. You also overestimate how long both feelings will last. The focusing illusion. Nobel Prize winner Daniel Kahneman discovered that when you think about any single factor in your life, money, relationships, career, you automatically overestimate its impact on your overall happiness. Your brain can't hold the complexity of your entire life and focus at once. Right now, there's probably something you think you need to be happy. A better job, more money, a relationship, losing weight. Your brain is lying to you about that too. The comparison trap. Your happiness isn't determined by what you have. It's determined by how what you have compares to what others have. This is why people making $50,000 in a neighborhood where everyone makes $40,000 are happier than people making $75,000 where everyone makes $100,000. Instagram and TikTok have weaponized this lie. You're comparing your behind-the-scenes reality to everyone else's highlight reel, and your brain treats those curated moments as if they represent complete lives.
Lie number 6. You have control over your thoughts. Try this right now. Don't think about a white elephant. How'd that work out for you? If you're like most humans, a big white elephant just stomped through your mind. Congratulations, you just discovered that you're not actually in control of your thoughts. This is called thought suppression, and it's one of your brain's cruelest jokes. The harder you try not to think about something, the more your brain obsesses over it. It's like having a rebellious teenager living in your head. The ironic process theory. Psychologist Daniel Wegner found that your brain actually has 2 systems, one that tries to suppress unwanted thoughts, and another that monitors whether the suppression is working. The monitoring system keeps bringing up the exact thought you're trying to avoid just to check if you're still not thinking about it. Ever try to fall asleep, but keep thinking about that embarrassing thing you said earlier? Or try to stop thinking about your ex, but they keep popping into your mind? That's your brain's suppression system backfiring spectacularly. When people start meditating, they're often shocked to discover how chaotic and uncontrollable their thoughts actually are. Buddhists call it monkey mind. Your thoughts are like a bunch of monkeys swinging from branch to branch, and you're just along for the ride. The default mode network. Neuroscientists have discovered that your brain has a default setting, and that setting is basically daydreaming and worrying. When you're not actively focused on something, your brain automatically starts churning through past regrets and future anxieties. Pay attention to your thoughts right now. Notice how they just randomly pop up without your permission. You didn't choose to think about lunch or that text you need to send or wondering how much longer this video is. Those thoughts just appeared. Almost everyone has random, disturbing thoughts that seem to come from nowhere. Thoughts about swerving into oncoming traffic or saying something completely inappropriate. These aren't signs you're a bad person, they're just your brain's weird way of testing its own boundaries. The paradox. The more you fight your thoughts, the stronger they become. The people who seem most at peace aren't controlling their thoughts. They're learning to observe them without getting caught up in them.
Line number 7, you know why you do what you do. Why did you choose your career, your partner, your favorite food, your political beliefs? Your brain has detailed stories ready to explain all these choices, and those stories are probably mostly fiction. This is called confabulation, your brain's tendency to create logical-sounding explanations for things that actually happened for completely different reasons. You're essentially the main character in a story that your brain is writing in real time, and you believe every word. Neuroscientist Michael Gazzaniga discovered what he calls the interpreter, a part of your brain that creates explanations for your actions, even when those explanations are completely wrong. It's like having a personal publicist in your head who's always spinning your behavior in the best possible light. In patients who had their brain hemispheres surgically separated, researchers could make the right brain perform an action, like standing up, while the left brain, where language lives, had no idea why. When asked, the left brain would confidently make up reasons. I'm standing up to get a drink, or I felt like stretching. Your behavior is constantly influenced by things you're not consciously aware of. The music in a store, the weather, whether you're hungry, what you had for breakfast. All of these affect your decisions while your brain creates completely unrelated explanations for your choices. Ever had a gut feeling about someone that turned out to be right, but you couldn't explain why? Or felt inexplicably drawn to someone or something? Your brain detected patterns you weren't consciously aware of, then created a story about chemistry or intuition. The Benjamin Franklin effect. Franklin noticed that he liked people more after doing them favors, not the other way around. His brain created the story, I must like this person because I helped them, rather than admitting the real reason was purely circumstantial. Psychologists can influence your behavior by exposing you to certain words or concepts beforehand. People walk slower after reading words related to elderly people, or act more aggressively after seeing words about hostility, all while being completely unaware of the connection. Think about a major decision you made recently. Your brain probably has a neat story about why you made that choice, but how much of that story is actually true versus something your brain constructed after the fact? The storytelling species. Humans are the only animals that seem compelled to create narratives to explain their experiences. Your brain would rather give you a wrong explanation than no explanation at all, because uncertainty feels more dangerous than being confidently incorrect.
That's all for now. If you liked the video, stay tuned. I'll bring more videos soon.